Hello, this is Patrick. Welcome to Chart Built Wealth, Profitable Investing with Technical Analysis. Well, another down day on Wall Street. Luckily, most of our buy recommendations that are left uh, were up. So that's the positive, and some of the things that we got stopped out of, like MP Resources was down, I think like 13% today. So I'm glad I followed my stop. I hope you did too. Some of the other things we got out of were down a lot. So having a stop, it can work against you sometimes, but it can also eliminate really big losses. So I wanted to talk about Antero Resources tonight. I'm going from a buy to a hold, and I'm going to be back on this name again, but I think it's gone too far, too fast, and we had a little bearish warning sign today. So let's get into it. So this is the mess of a chart that I started with on Antero Resources. And again, I'm into pattern recognition. I like to find big bases and then buy those breakouts. They usually go really, really quickly in one direction or the other. And in this case, it's been pretty sloppy, but persistence has paid off. So here's the symmetrical triangle. The bigger the patterns, usually the more explosive they are when they break out. So this is a 3.5 year pattern, and we broke out initially. That was way back on, I'm not going to go through each of these, March of last year, and then we sold with a little bit of a loss, and then we bought at a lower price. We sold at a little bit of a higher price. This was all because of this bearish rainbow convergence. And then I purchased this, and then I sold at a small loss. And then I sat back and watched this mess develop. And we had a smaller triangle pattern here, and I purchased that. That was on um, that was on February 26th at 34.41. And today I'm going neutral at 44.23. That's a gain of 28.5%. I know I flipped around here for a while, but this is basically a month. It's gone vertical. Now, I'm still bullish on this stock because if you measure the base of this triangle and you project that distance upward from the breakout point, you get $63, and we're only at, call it 44 today. So, you've got another, 50% higher potentially. And a lot of times these are accurate on the price projections, or they give you a good landing area anyway. So, we're getting slightly overbought. We're really not that overbought yet. You can see it over here. But I'm going to show you what this big mess could be. All this fits and starts on the breakout. Here's really, I worked on this weekend, and actually this looks a little more tame, and it is a legitimate symmetrical triangle also. A, B, C, D, E. That would suggest we get a pullback maybe to this uh, 19-day exponential moving average at 38 or 40 by the time it pulls back. This is a rising line, so the gap will narrow. So we've had a nice run here. This tells me to be a little bit cautious if this is truly the pattern, and it looks to me like it's truly the pattern compared to the last uh, chart, my original chart. So, and now we're going to take a look at the daily. We're just going to take a look at this part. The good part about this is it actually gives us a bigger price projection, which I'll talk about as this thing develops. But this would give you actually a $74 price projection. But anyway, I'm not worried about that right now. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Each one of these candlesticks represents a week of price action. we're going to take a look at the daily chart where each bar represents a day. And we're just going to look at this part. And so here we are. So that small triangle I showed on the first chart, here we go. It's hit our price projection for that. But today we got a bearish engulfing pattern where prices opened up higher and closed lower, engulfing the prior 2 days of price action. And that's called a bearish engulfing pattern, which suggests that prices could pull back. And you can see on the daily chart, we definitely have an overbought situation. So, and energy, this is more of a natural gas play, and natural gas really has been pretty flat compared to oil. But when somebody buys an energy ETF, it's everything. And so I think this is getting a boost, and it's getting this, the bus is getting crowded, and I think it's time to shake some people out. Kind of what happened with gold, where I got out of gold. I said, this is, bullish sentiment was at 95% or something. I would think energy stocks are up there too. I don't have any sentiment numbers. I wish I did. I'm just expecting to shake this out, to shake some people out, kind of like gold is doing now. And then we'll get back on this train. One last thing, if I look at a point and figure chart, which is the least subjective chart, this is just supply and demand. And we got a bullish trend line, which is great. We've got a column of X's, which happens when the stock goes up. And you can see we've had no pullback or anything here. And anytime you get a row, an up row, in this case of X's in excess of 10, it's, according to technical analysis and point and figure people, that it's overbought. And you can see here, we probably had about the same. This looks a little bit bigger, maybe 15. We got 13 here. So again, I'm just looking for a pullback here to get bullish. What I do with my position is, so if I had a 5, and everybody's position size is different, but you really got to nail this in your own mind and be consistent with it with every purchase you make. You should have a minimum and a maximum position. I have a 5% maximum on an individual stock. And so right now I'm down to about 3%. And I'll probably lessen that a little bit more, maybe to 2.5%. But I never want to just sell the whole thing, because if I do that and it continues higher, then I've missed. So if I bring it down to 2.5% and it pulls back 10%, I can add that money. I can go back to a 5% position. I'd probably go back to a 4% position because it's already up 30%. So that's kind of the thought process there. I hope you found that helpful. Oops. Thank you for watching Chart Built Wealth, profitable investing with technical analysis. Please like and subscribe. Have a great evening. Adios.